Thanks, Michelle. So we submitted a written engineer's report yesterday. I gave copies before the meeting to the supervisors. I see that items 1, 2, and 3 on my report are covered elsewhere in the agenda here later on, so I'll skip over those for now. So jumping down to number 4, quick update. Chuck, Steve, and I met with Mike Plavchek today. He's the contractor on Veterans Park, just to kind of get a sense of the work that's remaining on that contract. So Mike's going to send us some information, mainly the drawings, the specifications, and the financials to this point. I'll take a look at those, and then I think we need to get together as a group of supervisors with Dennis as well to talk about what action we want to take to close that contract out. And then the last thing on my list, number 5, is Cardox Road. We've talked about this one at past meetings. I made a site visit out there in March to take a look at the condition of the road. I sent a letter earlier this morning, I think, so I'm sure you haven't had a chance to read it yet, but just had some observations and some recommendations in there as to possible options to finish the work going on, or the work that had taken place and was stopped at Cardox Road. So we can talk about that now, or we can talk about that at a later meeting once the supervisors have had a chance to review the letter.
Well, you raised some good issues here, and I read your letter this morning, came to it
Sure.
about 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
It appears like if they widened the road except for a certain area which has not been widened.
Yeah, they did. Yes, correct. They did 2 segments of Cardox Road, and they avoided a section in the middle of the 2.
Where they had litigation.
Seems that's right, yeah. I don't have much understanding as to the litigation. But yes, it looks like they widened most of the road, stopped short of that property, and then continued on the other side, leaving us about a 600-foot section of the road that's unwidened.
Well, you know, one thing, I took a ride over there in Alabama, and we took a ride over there, Brandon Firestone, we took a ride over there.
Yeah.
And he said, you have a 33-foot right-of-way, road right-of-way down
That's
there.
right.
All you would have to do would be to get that section paved and keep it within the right-of-way. That's all, I'm just telling what he said. And to go through all this other legal things that went through, I don't know why why that was done that way. I don't know, because you still had a 33-foot right-of-way, and that it's in the right-of-way. Why don't you just keep it in there? That's what he said. And I just, well, I don't know. He just had a suggestion. I just said, you know, while we were out, I just said, would you just take a ride and give us some suggestions what you think? And that's all, just tell what he's telling us.
I think that's certainly one option, is centering a 24-foot cartway within the 33-foot right-of-way.
Right.
And, you know, maybe you can't quite achieve 24 feet across there at some points, but you certainly could widen it a few feet, I believe. And I think it probably could be done, mostly staying within the right-of-way that the township already has.
But the problem you have is back in 1992, Commonwealth Court in the Lynn Township case said basically whenever you expand the cart path, widen it, you need to get consent of the property owners, even though you have a right-of-way. Because I use this in South Spain Township before we came to Lisa. You need to get a consent, or you have to go and file condemnation, because you widen the cart path, you're actually taking the property. So what I'm saying is, you just
You're
can't
not
widen.
you're not taking nobody's property.
No, if you widen the cart path, this is Lynn Township, Commonwealth Court decision, 1992. When you widen the cart path, when someone, say for instance, you have,
Excuse
if they
myself,
want
I
to take
can't
3
sit in
feet
these
of
chairs
your front property, and you're gonna pay, you better get their consent, or they have to go to the domain, because now to take it, even though you have a right of way. That's Lynn Township, 1992. Okay, and I used that in South Spain when they wanted to put a second entrance way up to Clare Drive, used to live on Clare Drive, and I scared, I told myself, if you widen the cart path, drive, you know, the road on my property, I'm taking inverse condemnation.
Yeah, so I think depending on where you wanted to widen, you might have to do some grading as well to support certain sections of the subbase. So you're right. Certainly any alternative that the township wants to look into is going to have to be done in conjunction with the adjoining property owners.
So we have to get their consent to do it.
Correct.
Who was the rationale behind that?
The Lynn Township case, they're saying basically because does, and I've read it for a couple of years now. But if you have, even if you have a 33-foot right of way, if you widen the cart path, it's now, they said that's considered to be a take.
Considered a what?
Be a take.
Taking a what, or you're still in the 33-foot
Does
right
it?
of way? I don't understand.
A right of way is like this piece of paper, put it on the table, those people still own a portion of that road, okay? A right of way, it's all it is.
It's a right of way, it doesn't mean you can
It's-
pass it.
Go ahead, Dale.
Harold just said it's like an overlay, which I think is a good
All
analogy.
right, well, we'll have to.
I can tell you, I use this all the time. All right, what do we got, but I think.
That's all I have.
I think we need to, address this, because that Mr. Cant was making a big fuss back in February.
No, and we could probably use those orange barriers on Railroad Street.
Good in there. Yeah, we could. I think we own those, right?
Yeah, we do
Oh,
own
yeah.
them, and I'm sure he'd be happy to get them out from in front of his house.
It is, there is a spot on the frontage there where they totally stop the widening. It just immediately transitions back from approximately 24 feet to 16 and a half. So I think at a minimum, we need to look at that and look at how we taper back. You know, PennDOT has recommendations and ASHTO has guidance as to how you taper a narrowing roadway. And I think we certainly could achieve that at a minimum. The question is, do we want to look at widening any other portions of that, or, you know, any other areas along Cardox Road? But yes, I think the barriers, once we have put a taper in there, we could take the barriers down and the situation would definitely be improved. That's just how I
Whatever
see
is
it.
the least expensive, safest way.
Wasn't that widening already taken care of in court?
Excuse me?
Wasn't that widening of that right of way or whatever taken care of in court already?
I have no idea, I've
The
never,
Mater case?
I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what's happening.
I'm not familiar with the litigation either, so.
Yeah, I thought it was over and taken care of.
They filed an appeal at the Third Circuit Court of Appeal about
But I
it.
don't
No,
know.
that
if
was done
eminent
already.
domain-
The eminent domain case, I don't think it's, I don't know if it's,
Yeah.
there were two cases. Some type of constitutional right case in federal court, then there was the eminent domain case in the lower court. I know the federal court's it's over with. I don't know what happened at the lower court in
Let's
Washington.
check and see then. Over with, so why did I do it?
If there's so much here to look at, is every time I do one thing, there's another thing I have to take care of.
Yeah, we
That's a
can't
little
find
bit.
that there was a taking registered at the courthouse.
I mean, I can
There's
look at the look at the docket, but that's something we have to do. Okay, what is next?
Okay, any